Hello everyone, this is Mike. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I know many of you are thinking, who are you and what have you done with Mike? There's no way he would ever post two videos back to back, one day after the other, because he is the most laggard YouTuber in all of the cryptoverse. But yet here I am because I wanted to give you guys some updates. I forgot to mention this in yesterday's video. I went to a meetup last night in Santa Monica, California, and wanted to go ahead and share some of my thoughts with you while it's still fresh in my mind. But before we get into it, please make sure you like, subscribe, share, and follow all things DigiByte, including our channel right here at DigiByte SoCal. And a big thank you to all of those who support this channel, as well as the DigiByte Awareness Team and the DigiByte Unlimited Network. Also want to apologize for, I'm sure I've got kind of a haggard look today because I was up to about 2 o'clock in the morning last night creating my very first DigiAssets. So that was really exciting. And I want to tell you more about it probably in a future video because I want to give a little more thought about, what's the best way to deploy these assets. What are some of the things we can do to give it bigger, better use cases, that sort of thing. So this particular meetup focused on the FinTech and finance world. It was a new group. I think this was their first meetup. And I tell you, it was really fantastic all the way around, everything from the location just to the general vibe, the information that was given. They had a panel of some guys inside the industry who are focused on fintech startups. And, just the networking that went on as well, and the opportunities that I was presented with to educate some people myself, because even some of the panelists are like, yeah, I don't really know much of the Bitcoin blockchain world, so tell me about it. They were very, very receptive to it. So yeah, it was this location over, it was called Cross Campus, and it's between like 10th and 11th Street on, it was on Colorado, I think. It's the one with the Expo line right there. And, as I'm walking by, I mean, it's a huge place. I thought it was like a bar, and it actually had a bar there. An open bar, in fact, always a good thing. And but yeah, as I walked in, the lady who was checking people in, she right away she's like, "Oh, you must be here for the FinTech meetup, right?" Because I had my my Big 3 Accepted Here shirt that I got from FateKnox.com. It's a great shirt. I really love it. Has all 3 logos together, and I'll put a link below so you guys can check that out if you're interested. And yeah, so right off the bat, we're talking and telling her about, DigiByte and DigiAssets and DigiID. And I'm like, well, tell me more about what you do. And she works for a company called Spare. And in fact, her boss, who was the founder and CEO of Spare, was one of the panelists. And, I had a chance to have a good conversation with him after their panel presentation. I'll talk more about that in a minute. Yeah, like I said, it was just a great night in terms of just the central theme was how, within the fintech space, be more socially conscious. And with the panelists, what they're trying to do is provide banking services with the unbanked, right? Sound familiar, right? Yeah, it's a lot of parallels between what these guys are trying to do and what we see talked about a great deal within, with cryptocurrencies and blockchain digital assets. And yeah, and that even came up a couple times. The guy I mentioned before, who's the CEO of Spare, mentioned Bitcoin by name. There was another gentleman there who who founded a company called Track, where they help, people who are primarily employed as freelancers, or people who they're 1099. They have to take care of their own taxes essentially. It's just it's a tool that allows them to keep track of what they owe to IRS. And taxation is theft. Sorry, just got to throw that in there. And the other gentleman worked for a company or founded a company. I've got it here. I believe it's called Connecta. So they were all really involved with that aspect of trying to provide services for those who don't have access to financial services. Just basic stuff. People who they live paycheck to paycheck. They spend a lot of time and resources and money just getting a check cashed or having to go to the bank, having to use the ATM. And one of the things they touched upon, which I thought was really neat, was how they've noticed an evolution in the funding and VC space, where it's not always about who can get us the most profit in the least amount of time. That they are becoming more socially conscious. That hey, we do need to take a more pragmatic approach to do things that are more beneficial to people, even if it means, hey, you might not see a profit right away, but down the road it's going to be better for everyone. So that was great to hear. And as far as how things relate to the blockchain industry and DigiByte, of course, they talked about big data and whether that was a good thing or a bad thing. And the guy who created the track software mentioned blockchain. He said, in terms of like, there's a system that can, apply permissions or take permissions away from what data gets stored and shared. And I think that was really neat. And yeah, I need a haircut too. All right. So anyway, yeah, the panel was great, and a lot of good information. And when they ended, it's like, okay, does anyone have any questions? And no one raised their hand right away. So of course, I raised mine, and I brought up the kind of a follow-up. They did a little segment on regulations, and I brought up about how when you're doing things with connecting, say, a Wells Fargo account with a Bank of America, of course there's an existing framework for that. But when it comes to incorporating digital assets, open source digital assets such as Bitcoin, Litecoin, and DigiByte, do you feel like there's certain regulators that are becoming more open to those particular assets, or are you hitting up against a brick wall? You're seeing more resistance? And I mentioned our U.S. Congressman here in Simi Valley, Brad Sherman. For those of you may remember that name, he's the guy who got up from the Congress, said we should ban Bitcoin. Governments should ban cryptocurrencies. Of course, caused a big stir, within crypto Twitter, and it was kind of funny to watch all the memes and things follow. And their responses were interesting, just to hear their take. The one guy from Connecta mentioned about, he basically said, it comes down to trust. Does the government trust that the companies and the people who are integrating cryptocurrencies into what they do, are they doing it in a trustworthy fashion? He mentioned KYC, of course, we're all familiar with that, know your customer. And then the other guy, the founder of Spare, said it basically comes down to adoption. The more people who ask for it, the more that people will be forced essentially to accept it. Those who are in charge of the regulations. And that was interesting. And the third guy, the founder of Track, he didn't answer the question at all. And he just kind of like waved it off. Which is kind of interesting at first, and then we actually I spoke to him afterwards, and he kind of just made a joke like, it's like you know more about this than I do. He was completely, well, not completely. It's just there wasn't a familiarity there with cryptocurrencies in general. But I talked to him about DigiID. I talked to him about how it uses the BitID protocol. You use your private keys to sign and authenticate yourself, and it does away with usernames and passwords. So it was a great opportunity to share some information and do some education with someone like that. And also had a chance to talk to the guy with Spare, and because he had mentioned Bitcoin, I was like, well, is Bitcoin offered in your app? And he was like, well, yes. And he said that they go through Coinbase. So basically any coin offered on Coinbase is available through their app, which of course DigiByte is not listed on Coinbase yet. I'm certain it will be someday, probably soon, maybe. Who knows? But whatever. But I asked him, I was like, well, would you be interested in providing native support for DigiByte? Have a native wallet within their app, because with Coinbase, of course, it's a third party, and there's added fees with a system like that. I would say it's kind of similar to what Abra does. Abra, allows you to buy DigiByte, but it goes through Bittrex, and so when you withdraw, the fees are a lot higher. Of course, DigiByte is well known for having some of the lowest network fees in the industry. So anytime you transfer DigiByte from one wallet to another, you know, it doesn't cost hardly anything at all. But when you introduce these third parties, well, now things can add up a little bit. But he was very open to that, I even mentioned, because the lady who checked us in, you know, I was talking to her about, you know, DigiByte and everything, the DigiByte wallet, and I was like, well, let me, you know, check out your wallet. Turns out it is only available for iOS right now. They do have a, I guess it's a progressive web app version that should work on the Android that's in development. They said it should get released probably in about a week. And I offered, I was like, hey, well, if you're looking for beta testers, let me know. And they're like, yeah, totally. So, you know, a couple things that I definitely want to follow up with, you know, just beta testing their wallet, you know, just seeing how that works out. And then also just trying to get DigiByte integrated within their app, within their service. I think that'd be great. And ultimately, that's what, you know, these things are all about. It's about developing these business relationships that will grow into partnerships. You know, I mean, it's great to go to these events and talk to people, hand out some swag. Hey, here's your sticker. But in the end, it's all about results. It's about getting companies on board to provide DigiByte as a payment option, or to use it, you know, DigiID, for example, that application, or to build upon it, use DigiAssets. You know, these are the things that really move the needle. And like I said, it was a really great event, and looking forward to the next one. I'm not sure how often they plan to hold them. Like I said, it's a new group, but it was great. I had a great time, and they did have cameras there, so I'm hoping that at some point they upload it to YouTube somewhere. And of course, you know, if I find where that is, I'll do a video about it and link it below. So anyway, yeah, like I said before, meetups are an excellent opportunity to really just get out there and meet people and find out what they're doing, and learn of new ways that, you know, we can market DigiByte, whether it be, you know, the payment option or just the ecosystem as a whole. There's a lot of potential there, and, you know, as they say, you know, since marketing research has ever existed, you know, there's no better referral than you know, an actual person. You know, you look at, you know, the commercials, advertisements, a lot of it's just noise, and people are just, myself included, I just tune it out. It's like it has no effect on me. But to meet someone in person and talk to them a little bit about something, you know, that's a big difference. And that's where the power of a decentralized blockchain truly exists. With, you know, it's not just about me going out to meetups, it's about you and everyone else out there who volunteers their time and goes out there and tells people all about the wonderful things that DigiByte has to offer. So I strongly encourage you guys to look for meetups in your area, and whether or not they're blockchain specific, or maybe it's just, you know, a tech meetup, or you know, this was a FinTech specific meetup. And if there's none in your area, well, see if you can put one together. In fact, there is one tomorrow down in Venice Beach. This was the same group, which I had a DigiByte table back over the summer. They're having a meetup. Unfortunately, I won't be able to make it. I've got family stuff going on. But hey, if you're in the area, you're on Venice, you're on the west side, definitely check it out, because it was a lot of fun. And again, you can talk to people about DigiByte. And let me just say, if you do end up going, reach out to me, because you know, I literally live down the street from where this place is, and, you know, maybe we can meet up beforehand and I can give you some swag to hand out. You know, I'm just throwing that out there. Also, make sure to join the DigiByte meetup group that Laura Taylor put together, and yeah, post some ideas, or if there's a meetup in your area and you want to share that information, you know, maybe there's someone else who'd be interested in going, you know, that'd be fantastic. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this little bit of information. I'm going to go and wrap things up. Hope you guys have an excellent weekend. Be strong, be safe, look out for one another, be good to one another, and we will talk to you next time. Cheers.